Going on? All thanks for tuning in once again. So Jay Opetaia, decides to part ways with Eddie Hearn. I don't blame the guy. He's been fighting and getting knockouts. He's been, winning. He's been on a streak. He's been calling out names. He's beaten Breeders twice. And he just doesn't seem to get the shots that he deserves. He's been calling out Ramirez now. Benavidez, gets a shot at Ramirez, first fight at cruiserweight. It just seems like he's getting robbed, of opportunities with Eddie Hearn. They're not really making him a priority, not making these big fights. So now he's parted ways with him and he has gone with Zuffa Boxing. Now Zuffa Boxing is, I believe, owned from Dana White. He's trying to make his way into the boxing industry, from my understanding, and as well as Turki Al-Sheikh. I think he co-owns it. So this is just from something that I've partially read, but what I have seen is that a lot of people are saying that Jay Opetaia has ruined his chances of becoming Undisputed cruiserweight, where it clearly says that after he signed that this is the road to Undisputed. So obviously, Jay Opetaia has been told that he's going to have big fights. I don't think that Jai would actually sign anything unless he's guaranteed big fights. I know that Turki's mentioned that he would get a shot at heavyweight and things like that. He wanted to fight. He wanted to line Chisora versus Opetaia up. He wanted that fight to go ahead. Opetaia's intention was to become Undisputed at cruiser. So it's possible that the Undisputed at heavyweight may be a possibility for Opetaia. If Turki Al-Sheikh's involved, maybe they are trying to line up Usyk versus Opetaia. That's another possibility, but I think that it's going to be Opetaia versus Badu Jack. Like Opetaia said, that's the fight that's going to happen. And I just think that where he was before, they just weren't prioritizing his intentions. They were just giving him all his mandatories, which he beats, knocks him out, and now he's just had enough. Now he's just gotten to the point where why not sign with a new, place under Dana White. We know Dana White from the UFC. Turki Al-Sheikh, he's been putting these big rehab cards together. Made these promoters work together. So why not, sign up with these guys and put his career in their hands in terms of the bigger fights happening. So I'm hoping that these guys make these fights for Opetaia. Sometimes, as we've seen, with Turki, he's just come out of nowhere and he's made all these big names sit next to each other. We would have never seen Hearn and Warren with Joshua Wilder. That first rehab card. Everyone was shocked from that. The reckoning. That reckoning card that he made, and I believe Opetaia was also on a couple of cards, rehab cards. So it's not like he hasn't fought in rehab season, you could call it. So I'm guessing that Turki Al-Sheikh, Dana White, these guys have stated that Opetaia's, we're going to make sure that Opetaia gets his Undisputed title. We're going to do whatever means necessary for those fights to happen. And we know that money talks. We know that sometimes, most of the time, these fighters, promoters get offered a big bag, and all of a sudden, big fights happen. So that's what I'm thinking anyway, that this is a good opportunity. I'm not, just because it's a new something new. Just because it's something new, I'm not gonna write off that Opetaia's not gonna get bigger fights. I mean, let's face it, you know, he hasn't been getting big fights with Eddie Hearn. You know, like the fights that he wants. You know, he did fight Beatrice, but you know, that's different. Talking about these, you know, Ramirez, now he's lined up to fight Benavidez. You know, so let's hope that he fights Bowdy Jake with Zuffa Boxing and that he gets better opportunities. That's my take anyway. Leave yours, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.